Hi, friend, and welcome to another time session of Sunday as I share my sermon notes, my sermon takeaway for my pastor, Dr. Tony Evans. So, we're going through the series of the Judgment Seat of Christ. And so, many topics under that umbrella topic. So today we are talking about the judgment seat of Christ, the perspective for the judgment. So I'm just going to share a few of my sermon takeaways. So number one is that when the King of the universe tells you that he's coming, you must make the necessary adjustment. So when Jesus tells you that he's coming back, when you know that God is coming back, then we must make adjustment in our lives, and that's important. I know Pastor gave an analogy of when the president was coming on campus, and they had to make some adjustment because, well, the president of the United States was coming. So in the same, what more the King of the whole world, the creator of the universe, Jesus, who is coming back, by the way. So we ought to make the necessary adjustments in our lives and to do it immediately because we don't know when he will actually show up. But we know for certain that he will. Number two is that don't be like scoffers. We should not be like scoffers who just make fun, who make light of serious matters, who are just making fun and mocking. Well, when is he coming? And Peter talks about how scoffers in the last days are going to say, we've been talking about Jesus coming back forever. When is he really going to come? They don't really believe he's coming back. So they kind of live their lives the way they want to live it. Because he says something about scoffers. They make fun or they poke fun at something that they should take seriously because they don't really want to believe it. And they don't really want God to interfere in their lives because then it becomes an issue of sin, living the way that they want to live. So scoffers don't believe, they make fun because they don't really want to acknowledge the truth that there is a God, that he's coming back, and that we have to take accountable in the way that we live our lives. And number three, we have to remember that God has intruded history before. In the Old Testament, there was a foreshadow prophesying that Jesus is coming back. The manger, the child is born, unto us a child is born, unto us a son is given. All of those prophecies from the Old Testament were fulfilled. So if he said that he was coming the first time and he came, what more he says he's coming back, he's going to come back. So it's a sure thing. So remember that he said it before and he fulfilled it. He said it again. He's going to fulfill it once more. Number four, with God, you don't have to know or see it. You just have to know who said it. And if God said it, it's going to happen. Number five, takeaway, when you see the marginalization of God in your life and the society as a whole, you will see more and more chaos. And if you live in this world, you will agree with me that there's more and more chaos arising. It's really an issue of taking God out, because when you take the only one that gives you hope and peace and joy and anything good is because of him. If you take him out, then you're not going to have anything good. So because we have taken God out of the society, we're seeing more of chaos and the result of that, leaving him out. Number six, our cooperation with God is a must in order to fulfill his plan and purpose for us. And a lot of times we prolong the things that he wants to do in our lives because of our disobedience. And just like the children of Israel was an example, what would have taken them probably a month took them 40 years because they were disobedient and rebellious. So God had to take them the long route, around the circle. And isn't that just like us today, that we don't obey and cooperate with God and we end up going around the circles over and over? Something that God would have probably done quicker if we were just obedient and just follow a line in alignment with him. Number seven, God's delays sometimes may simply be due to our disobedience. God may be waiting on you and I. So God is waiting for us to get in alignment with him. Number nine, God wants us to, number eight was God is waiting for us to get in alignment with him. Number nine, God wants our lives surrendered to him so that he can use us to make sure less people will perish. If there's one reason I know that God has left us here on earth as his children, we're saved, we can go home with him, but he's left us here. One primary reason so that we can help, share the good news for the people that are around us who don't know, who are lost. And we want to be there to really, really pray for them and really pray that God will open up their eyes. And may God use us to be a good influence here on earth and to take as many people with us to heaven as much as we can. Only God can change a heart, but we can be his instruments for him to use to do that. So God wants our lives to be surrendered to him so that he can use us. And finally, number 10, we must look at everything in this life as only temporary, because it is. Pastor talks about a party lies to you, but a funeral tells you the truth about life, because the Bible does say that it's better to go to the house of mourning than to go to the house of feasting, because when we go to the house of mourning, we see things as they really are. It's not camouflage. It reminds us that we are mortal, that we will one day die. But thank God that there's good news for the believer. We don't really die. We transition to the presence of God. So that's good news. So reminding us that it's all going to end. There's things in this world, things in this life. I mean, the primary text of today's message was 2 Peter 3 verses 1 through 14. Talks about how, all of this is going to burn. God is going to destroy everything and create a new heaven and new earth. So don't be deceived to think and to make all your preparations, all your plans to be here on earth. No, this is just temporary. So make sure that how we live here on earth should really be in light of the truth, that we need to pay attention to things that really matter, the things that are eternal, the things that are forever. How do we live? Knowing that all these things will perish and burn up. We must live down here on earth while looking up to heaven. And don't be so earthly attacked that you are no longer heavenly good, or vice versa. We must live in light of eternity while functioning here on earth. And the truth is that the more heavenly perspective that we have, the more clarity earth will become. So you can see things clearer as they are, as they really are. So that ends my sermon takeaway today. I hope that God, will use it to speak to you as well. All right. Blessings. Bye-bye.